Good afternoon. Welcome in to another edition of Rutland County Matters. I'm Senator Brian Collmore. With me today, Senator Kevin Mullen, Senator Peg Flory, and a special guest today, the Lieutenant Governor of the state of Vermont, Phil Scott, who's going to join us for the next half hour as we talk about some of the issues that are facing not just Rutland County, but obviously the state of Vermont as well. I thought we might start, Lieutenant Governor, with a quick recap of a program that we had our first bite at this year. The Wheels for Warmth program, which you have had in existence. I think this was the 11th overall, but the first time that Rutland County was involved, and we broke some records, didn't we?
You really did. You were very, very helpful in this regard. We've had this program for 11 years, and it's something that I started thinking about, all the tires that I had in my garage and in my basement. And I started hearing on the local radio station about all the people that were trying to get rid of their tires. So I thought, what can we do with all those tires to help others? And thought about, about so many people that are struggling to make it through the winter and not having the tires that they need. So I decided to have this program where people can donate their tires to this cause. We take them, collect them over a 3-day period. And then we have a sale date, and we've over the years we have a 1-day, last Saturday of October, and we've done it in Middlesex for 10 years, and we've collected an enormous amount of tires. They're safe to go back on the highways, and we sell them for pennies on a dollar. And then we take the proceeds from that and we give it to fuel assistance. So it's a win-win-win. We recycle tires as well, those that aren't good enough to make it through a season. And that's important to me, not just passing inspection, but making it through a season, because there's nothing worse than for somebody that has don't have the means to make it through the winter and buy the tires to actually have tires that they have to mount and balance, and then they don't make it through the next inspection period. So it's important to me to have good, safe tires. We have the motor vehicle inspectors come and check the tires. So over the years, we've collected a lot of money, up to this date, about $250,000. And we've, to date now, we've exceeded the $300,000 mark with the help of Rutland, which was a big help, to about $310,000. We've recycled 25,000 tires in 11 years, and we put back into use 15,000 tires, safe tires to go back on the highways. And it's been a great process, a lot of volunteers, a lot of great people getting involved. The Casellas have been through this with us since day one. They've been big supporters of that. We couldn't do it without them. Bond Auto is another one that's been very, very helpful, but many, many others that have given a lot. And certainly with the Rutland delegation doing the food service at the Wheels for Warmth this year, it was really, really interesting drive-through by, as a matter of fact. So it was interesting, and we thank you for doing that.
Well, it turned out to be very fun too, which is always kind of nice when you're doing something good for other people, but you can have some fun. You had a great story about a woman who showed up very late that day. And maybe you can just relate that, and then we'll kind of close the Wheels for Warmth.
Yeah, again, all the money, the proceeds go to the local community action centers. In this case, it's Brock in this area. And so we were closing up on Saturday this year in Rutland. I came down for the end of that, and we were getting ready for the parade, the Halloween parade. We're going to have a Wheels for Warmth float. And a woman pulled in. It was late. It was about 2 o'clock after we'd shut down. And she said, am I too late for tires? And we said, well, we actually have a few left over. Maybe there's something up there. We pointed her in the right direction. We sent somebody up to take a look. And she found the tires that she needed. And she came back, and then she told her story. She said that she had been struggling for a bit. Her husband had passed away a few years ago. She had young children. She'd just gone in this morning, that morning, for brakes on her vehicle. And she was faced with an inspection that was due on Monday, and she needed tires in order to pass inspection. She said it was a godsend to find this. She had only heard about it recently that morning, and she decided to take a chance and came, found the tires she was going to. She said, I don't know what I would have done without these tires. I wouldn't have been able to afford tires to get them on my vehicle to pass inspection on Monday. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And it was just something that all the stars aligned, and it was a great story, and she was very appreciative. We were moved by the experience, and that's the type of thing that's been replicated over the years with this program. We had 500 people waiting to get tires at our event in Middlesex this year. 500 people. We have to hold them back. They start at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning to line up, and you see the need in their faces. And it's with mixed emotions that I see them coming and going, because I know we don't have enough tires there to satisfy all the need, but we help out quite a few people, and that's all we can do. And we find ways to volunteer, and volunteerism is something that's part of the backbone of Vermont, I believe. In times of crisis, we all come together and try and help each other, and this is a way for people to help as well.
So we'll look forward to that again next October. Wheels for Warmth, and you can plan on it. And the entire Rutland delegation, it's a total nonpartisan effort, will be aboard again to help you out. With us, as I mentioned, Senator Kevin Mullen, who chairs the Senate Economic Development Committee. And recently we sat in the House chamber to listen to the budget address. And I know that you had some questions that you wanted to ask the Lieutenant Governor regarding the budget and some of the provisions that were in it.
Thanks, Brian. My observations, having listened to the budget speech, and this is one of many that I've heard, is that it was one of the more disappointing speeches, and I wanted to flesh out some thoughts with the Lieutenant Governor. The Governor seemed to try to spin it as the fact that he was being fiscally responsible and coming forward with a balanced budget, but he recycled some ideas that the legislature has rejected in the past, and one of those was the way he balances the Medicaid budget is by putting a provider tax on all our dentists and all our independent physicians, and it's retroactive to the first of the year. And for those who don't know it, it's not a tax that you can charge the patient, because the insurance companies negotiate the rates in advance. The doctors on the government programs only get the Medicare rate and the Medicaid rate. And it just seemed to me, and I wanted to get your thoughts, is that the governor was either doing one of two things. One, and I have to say that I'm getting cynical the longer I'm up there, is I had to think that he didn't want to put his name on cutting anything. So by balancing it, he did this, knowing full well that the legislature wouldn't agree to it and we would have to try to come up with the money. Or secondly, he was seeking revenge, because I understand there's been a lawsuit by some of the hospitals saying that the current tax is an unfair tax because in-based hospital docs are being taxed but independents aren't. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on the budget overall. If you thought that it was a responsible budget, I know I didn't, but I wanted to get your thoughts.
Well, we certainly can talk a lot about the budget over the years. We remember back last year when the governor had proposed a payroll tax in order to fulfill the Medicaid portion, and that was ill-conceived. It was something that the legislature firmly rejected, and rightly so. We're trying to make Vermont more affordable, not more unaffordable. And what we should be looking for, we're going to have to tighten our belts a bit in order to do it. We should be looking at how we grow this economy rather than how to make it more unaffordable, because that's part of our problem, and something that I've talked about a lot. We have a stagnant population. What we have is a changing demographic. We're getting older in this state. We're losing this category from the age group 25 to 45. And since the last census, we've lost 30,000 out of that category alone. And when you think about that, that's the working class. Those are the folks that have they have families, they're working class, they have jobs, and they pay taxes. So when we have 30,000 less of them, then it places the burden firmly on the backs of others, the rest of us that are still here. And that creates more unaffordability. So when we talk about things of this nature, when we're actually, and it's such an unfair tax, when a deal's a deal, and when you go retroactively into somebody else's pocket, it's not fair to them. And we're having troubles enough trying to keep our providers here now.